I've just finished all the Battleglide Gold camos, and now I'm going to rate them from easiest to hardest and how good they look. Let's get into it. I struggled with the hammer a lot, only because I had to 4-tap every enemy because I was playing on Nightmare difficulty. And juggernauts were the most annoying things to do with melees, unless it was a sharp melee, like the katana, tomahawk, or knife, which are going to be a lot higher on the list. But, unlike the bat or the frying pan, which are higher up on the list as well, it's not the full camo. It's only on where you hit them, not the handle. Which is why this is dirt last on the list. Let's get into number 16. In my opinion, the frying pan wasn't actually the best one, but it was better than the hammer since it's a full weapon camo. But it did take me the second longest, especially on Nightmare difficulty, because it had to 4-shot low-level enemies, and I believe 12 or 16-shot juggernauts. But I did manage to get it done with relative focus. So let's move on to number 15 now, which I'm not going to say. The bat was one of the more better camos out of the 3 blunt weapons, but the only reason it was so low on the list is because it is a blunt weapon, again taking 4 shots to the head to defeat low-level criminals, aka the small ones. But juggernauts took high health, which I didn't really eliminate juggernauts with the bat, which is why this was so low on the list. But the gold camo is good. It's a full weapon camo like the frying pan. But now we're going to actually start moving on to the sharp weapons. So we're going to stay on melees at the moment, but we're going to move on to the sharp weapons. Alright, let's get into it. The only reason the pencil is this low on the list is because of how the camo looks. You can barely see any of the camos on the pencil, let alone the gold camo or the vamp camo, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I bet some people are massive fans of. So yeah. But it looks pretty much like a pencil, so that's why it's this low on the list. Moving on to the next one, which is actually a gun, by the way. Now, for the first gun, I thought I would place this higher, but actually, surprisingly, when I had another look at the camo, I didn't really like it. But to be honest, since I've been playing Battleglide, I have never liked the Tech 9. I just didn't like the fact that it had a large mag that you could shoot out, kind of like the ARs. But ignoring that, I just don't like the way the camo looks. So yeah. For one of the newer weapons, I didn't really like it, but mainly because it loads and shoots like a shotgun, but takes grenades. What I did like about it was how the gold camo looked on it. I think the 2 best camos for the grenade launcher are ruby and gold. So yeah. We're moving on to number 11 now, then it's top 10. I can't lie, I didn't really like the way the shotgun looked, but it did get a bit of a clutch up because it could use a bayonet. So once I equipped the bayonet, it made it easier for me to use the shotgun. But that is pretty much it for the shotgun. That's why it's so low on the list. That's why it's number 11. Anyways, top 10 now. Let's get it. Right, so knife is literally at the bottom of the top 10. So basically clawing his way up. But the only reason knife is at top 10 is just because I believe it's only the blade that turns gold. And that doesn't really look as good to me. But I think the saving grace for it is you can hold it upside down, which is probably what it needed. Or it'd be a lot lower in the list. I think either above or below pencil. Anyways, let's get into number 9. I've been quite generous putting the M14 in number 9, because I would have put it a lot lower, because I've severely hated this weapon. But the gold camo does look pretty good on it, which is the only reason why it is this high on the list. It does feel worth it to get that gold camo on it. So, I haven't really got much to say about this one. Let's just move straight into number 8. The only reason that M4 is this low on the top 10 list is because it's very overshadowed by the AK-74, which is quite high on this list in general. But not high, well, kind of high on the top 10. But it is quite high on the list. Let's just move on to number 7 now, because I want to get this out of the way. The only reason the 9mm is this high is because it looks like that one Chapter 5 pistol, the Ranger pistol, I think it was called. I'm going to put a picture of it now, but it looks like that, basically. So, let's move on to number 6, which, actually, something surprising. Again, the only reason the Tomahawks are this high are because they actually look so good. I can't fully remember, but I think the gold is only on the blade / the bit you attack with, like the knife. But it does look cooler. And I will admit, I have a lot of fun throwing them at enemies. I do need to work on my aim with them, though, because I did hit the NPC in a roof hostage situation. I had to pay the price for that one. Anyways, let's move on to the number 5th spot. So we're getting into the top 5 now. I'm really excited. In my opinion, the AK-74 is a super good weapon. It has a bayonet, a nice gold camo, and a good fire rate to take out the enemies. And the reloading looks amazing on it. But I will admit, it got easier once I got the bayonet, because I would just approach juggernauts, grab them, stab the knife into their head, shoot them in the head twice, and they're gone. That's an instant level. Because juggernauts are really good for levels when you're early game or starting a new camo. So it's really good. I'm so glad this is top 5. Let's move on to number 4. The new drum shotgun has one of the best gold camos and magazines to date in Battleglide history. In my opinion, I found this the hardest to reload because of the drum mag. But ignoring that, I think I have a bayonet on it, which obviously made it easier to shoot. But also the fact that it was the highest mag capacity we've had since the 3.0 update and the M14. But on a normal thing, the gold camo looks pretty good, and I would recommend doing it first. But you do need to get the hunting shotgun to level 15 to start it. So quickly do hunting shotgun, then do drum shotgun. Anyways, we're moving on to the top 3 now, which these are really good ones in my opinion. So let's get straight into it. I'm actually going to be super, super quick about this, but the katana's the best melee weapon we've had for quite a while. It looks really good, especially with the gold camo. Could be used for some crazy combos, but I just like the way it looks. Probably why Deadpool is my favourite superhero out of all the others that I like. But anyways, moving on to number 2 now. The Deagle is probably one of the cleanest pistols I've ever seen, but for some reason, you can have a bayonet with it, which I found really weird, but it does look quite funny with a bayonet on it. But ignoring that, the Deagle actually looks really clean, and it deserves this number 2 spot, but number 1 is obviously the best. Let's get straight into it, brothers. You will not want to miss this. Alright, this is the number 1 spot. The number 1 best gold camo weapon, especially when you have 2 of them. A Deadpool, not going to say which one, had a form of this weapon, I believe, in the film Deadpool and Wolverine, which I think is the only one where more than one Deadpool came into that reality. Kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home. But Deadpool did it better, in my opinion. Anyways, the number 1 spot is... I've given the number 1 spot to the Mach 10. But the only reason is, if you do two Mach 10s look really good. I don't think it could beat the Deagle by a long shot. But I still gave Deagle number 2 because it does look really good with 2 weapons. Even with and without the bayonet on it. Even it just didn't look as nice with the suppressor on it as the Mach 10. But I still preferred the Mach 10 over the Deagle, mainly because it has more practical use, and not because I'm a spray demon. That's only me in Fortnite, bro. It's only me in Fortnite. But there you go. That is my list of which weapons are the hardest and the easiest to unlock. Let me know what video type I should do next, or if this was good or not. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. Enjoy your day. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. I'm out.